Welcome to Speedicalc. So what you see here is an online account. So when you make a purchase and you get your license, then this will be your online account. And based upon the size of the project that you got, it'll be here in your file. There's also all the access you have having a Microsoft account as well. So all these features are free for you to use as well. But the main thing that we're going to show here is the Speedicalc calculator. So let's take a look at that. For this demo purpose, I'm going to give an overview. There is one user template. There's only one. And this is the location where your entire team, up to 999 people, can be in this file at the same time working independently. So they all make their entries independently in their own parts and their own template or section of the file. And then everything is automatically placed in a data file that you just referenced, and we'll get into that and show you. But just to give you an example, this is just a Wild Horses Wind Farm. This is a wind farm example where the data date is put here, the project name is here. If I delete this just to show you, it's yellow. Anything yellow when you first get it blank is going to show, help you fill it out. There's also little notes here, as you can see, help and guide you along the way, right? But let me undo that. So as you type these in, if I type in a new activity here, you'll see it automatically puts your WBS in, right? And I'll put another new one, and then 19. See how that happens? This is all automatic, and it does your WBS automatically for you and keeps track of everything, and it's well organized. This will be your main categories. So you have up to 20 main categories, and then you have your weights. So this is an importance value. If you're not familiar with this, it's in the Project Management Book of Knowledge, where you basically put an importance value to indicate that something has a higher priority over another activity, or just has overall more importance value. I like to use the example of a structure where there's a foundation, exterior wall, interior walls, and a roof, and landscaping. When you do the structure, that's part of the project. Landscaping is part of the project, but you probably weigh landscaping as something like 0.1%, something like this. It needs to get done, it needs to be tracked, but it's not going to prevent you from having a functional project such as moving into your structure. Just an example. So as you fill this out, you'll notice that this is for the plan, and then over here is the baseline. So you just fill in your activity, that importance value, the start end date of that activity. If it's a percentage, you just leave it as percentage, or you can put quantity and you can type in whatever quantity that you need, and you can track it this way. So this prevents like other project management software or Gantt charts like Microsoft Project, Primavera, Smartsheet, where you have to use a Gantt form and use the SS, SF, FS, and FF logic. This uses critical path method versus what they use. So instead of having to do 100 lines for different quantities, you can just put the quantity itself and connect the two activities together, and it will properly track everything for you. We do all the calculations for you. Now, you also have a cost for this activity, and that's it. So as you plan a project, these are the basics that you have, right? So you don't get really in depth in that until you get a contract in place. Now, the baseline, you can do the same. So maybe it's the same as the plan, but this is provided for you so you can also fill this out. It could be a little different than the plan. Then we'll get into connecting all the activities together and the inputs and outputs, but really you're just putting the actuals and your forecast into the program. But let's show you what the output is. So we just saw the plan, right? So now we open up our data file. So these are view-only files. Again, the user template is the only file that entries are made. Again, 999 people can be in that file. Also, just as many could be in this file, but it's view only. So you can click around and see how your project is performing, but you can't delete anything, right? If I try to, this message will pop up. So this is view only, this shows you exactly the performance of your project. So for example, it pulls everything over that we just saw in our plan and our cost, but now you see something different. We have our critical path method. Everything on your critical path method is calculated for you automatically. So you have all your dates, right? And the totals at the top. You have your early start, early finish, late finish, your critical path, which activities are on that path, all in this list format. So it's really easy to read, right? You can follow it across. You have your total float, your free float, whatever it may be. Okay? And then we're going to go back over a little bit more. And we have all of our actual and forecast information. So this is all, again, in this list format. I can quickly view this. And this shows me overall in my project. We're in the project file. There are also files just like this for each one of these. So we can see the same consistency. So it's organized and clear, but we can dig really deep into our project and have this complete oversight, something that you're not going to find in any other software. So actual forecast, we have our start, finish date, our durations, and our actual percent completion of each of these activities, as well as the cost. And again, all at the top here are the totals of the entire project. Now we also have our earned value management. So we come over here, and again, in this list format, earned value management, all the actual cost, planned value, cost variance, schedule variance, earned value, cost performance index, schedule performance index, and what those are, right, for each one. Your budget at completion, estimate at completion, different types, right, different scenarios, variance at completion, different scenarios, everything automatically provided for you. Again, if you're familiar with the project management book of knowledge, also called the PMBOK, this is everything inside it, absolutely everything. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. It's also online. You can just check out the terms on the project itself. Though we have terminology and definitions here, so we actually have a lot of this information already for you. So you can just take a look at it. So if you need to brush up or you need to recall something, it's always good to have, but it's all there. Now, let's see. Let's go back to this. We also have our late finish. The late finish is calculated for you automatically with the dates, the start and finish dates, and their durations, and then it pulls over the baseline that we saw in the other file, the user template. Now let's jump into inputs. Inputs is just pulling everything over that's in the input or the user template. So there's inputs for all those, right? All your actuals, forecasts. You have your plan, your baseline, so we can see the entire project. What's this yellow line? This yellow line represents the data date, which is up here. It's typed in the user template, so you want to track this at a specific point in time. So usually you do reporting every week. So this is on a weekly basis. So across, you can easily read across. Everything above is in the past. The yellow line represents right now, and below the line is everything in the future, right? Dashboard, here we have a quick view of our overall project, and then again we have the same file. We can see every actual main category of our project and dig deep into that. But this is the project. So everything on the left, we have our budget. Everything on the right, we have our schedule. And in the middle is the earned value. So at a glance, we can easily identify the health of our project, right? So this is the status. It's in budget. If it wasn't in budget, it would say over budget. And same for the schedule. It says behind schedule. If it was, and you can see because it's less than one, if this goes to one or over, then it's going to read that it's on schedule. Okay. And it's in progress at the moment because you can probably tell from our data date, which is here, and it's between these dates. This is the beginning of our project and the planned end of our project. And it's currently in progress. So if it was not in progress or any activity was not in progress and you see this dashboard, it would give you that readout and say not started, right? It also would say completed if it's completed. Let's go back over here to the budget side. So this is our budget, and then we have our actual spend, and this is the actual spend as of this data date. We have our planned spend. This is what was planned to be done as of this point in time, and this is the earned value as of right now. Okay, and we scroll down and we can see all of our budget and schedule information. So here the percentage is doubled up, you can see, but this you see is quantity. So if we have, right now we have everything in all percent, but if we have some things in quantity, it's going to represent them in a quantity, but then it always rolls them up into an overall percentage. So that's something else that other project management software does not do, is not the ability to be able to mix quantities and percentages of different types of activities within an overall project or main activity. So this does the mix and the calculations for you, and then it applies that weighted value to all of those as well to give you the proper percentage at this point in time. And you can see as well with the budget, right? So the budget, we have the actual amount, what's actual as of today, what's spent, what's planned to be spent, or what's left. This is what's planned, what was planned at this point in time, and the baseline at this point in time, and then it converts that to a percentage, right? So this amount is 81.39% of this total budget, right? And then we have a visual here, and this is in Excel. You can copy, you can use it for reports, do whatever you want. Again, being in Excel and having everything incorporated or calculated for you, you can just hold your cursor over the chart and any of these lines, any of the baseline, plan, forecast for the budget or schedule, and you're going to see wherever you hold your cursor what the amount at that point in time is, right? And so this is a good view to see how your schedule is working together with your budget. Now, another thing just to point out, it's in Excel again. The beauty of that, I can double click on the timeline if I want, and then you can change the dates, right? So I can see it at a certain point in time if I want to say September instead, and I want to September to October, just like a month or so, something like this. You can view that, right? So that's just something to point out. Now, scroll down and we see the schedule and the budget separate. So the values obviously are the same and just pulled apart, but we have different visuals. So we have this circle chart here showing the actual forecast of what is completed, what's remaining, and then also our histogram view of actual plan, baseline, late finish, as well as a budget type of view, similar, right? Okay, let's go to the cost performance and schedule performance index. So again, this is for the whole project. So these two were shown on our dashboard. So they're going to be the same, right? But we also have every single main activity, and then we want to go into these and drill down even further. We can do that. So we want to go to business development file. I can go there. I can click on my schedule performance index, and there it is, and then I can drill down and see every activity inside it and the health of that as well, right? And that goes for every activity. So this is something, this will just in real time. So as entries are made, you have this file open, it's in the cloud. These are the needle, literally watch the needle move, right? In real time as each team member is making updates through the day. So if there's a team on each of these making entries every day, you'll see the needles move from every department, how progress is going. At the end of the day, you can have a view of everything, right? And this is all through the project. Now let's take a little deeper look here. So I will see these three items here. So not only do we know what the cost and schedule performance index is of each of these activities, but we know if it's completed or if it's in progress, for example, or it may say not started if it hasn't started. If it's on schedule or not, it'll say behind schedule. If it's over budget, it will say over budget. It says in budget because it is in budget. And this goes for everything, right? This one here, here's one, says behind schedule, over budget. So it'll give you that readout automatically as, again, as entries are made. Let's go to the next one. This is the Gantt view. So the Gantt is automatically done for you. And it's better in the sense that it's rolled up. You don't have like this huge, ugly Gantt that you're looking at, that's like thousands of lines long, which if you need to have that, you need to have that. But again, think about the quantities. You can really do a lot with that. So instead of having multiple line items, like that may not be necessary, this condenses things. But also for reporting purposes, you're not going to show a Gantt chart from Primavera to your CEO for a report, right? And if the upper management wants to see it, they're not going to make sense of it. But this is something you can make sense of and read. So upper management can easily see this. This is something, for the whole team. Now, here's the data date. So this will move as the data date changes, and everything to the left, of course, is in the past, and everything to the right is in the future. The green represents the forecast. The blue is the actual, and then the light blue is the plan, and the gray is the baseline up here. The darker red is the entire project, and the lighter pinkish color is the future forecast. And then you have the date durations, right? Start, end date of each of these, the whole project, and each of these activities, and you can see what the plan was and what the baseline it was or is, and you can easily identify the status or how things are going according to how it was properly planned, right? And then we have the actual and the plan completion as of this data date or this point in time. So it was planned to have this. It's actually this, and this is something, again, you don't get with other software. So let's go to the next one, earned value management. So this is a good one. This type of chart, an S type of curve or line chart, is something, again, that you don't get in any other software. This represents your entire project, right? Of how things are going with your earned value, planned value, and actual cost, and it's automatically done for you. Again, we're going to get this for every single activity as well. And we can zoom in, right? We can use this for our reports. It's Excel, so we can copy it. We can double click on this. We can change the dates, right? You have all that flexibility of being in Excel. And another reason, just to point out, just pause for a minute, as far as being in Excel, is that a lot of people that use other software, the very last question that they have is, can you import it in Excel or export it to Excel? So this is in Excel, right? So you don't need to worry about that. And it has all the formatting, meaning the colors, the charts are correct. You even have, like, they're smart, right? I can hold my cursor over it. This is intelligent, where if you have something that's put in a CSV file that then you can put it in Excel, all you're going to get are headers and no formatting, no formulas, nothing, and you'll get your numbers with a header above it, and that's it. That's all you get, and everybody knows that. So there's no value really in that, because you have to do it so manually, right? Now let's go to the next one. We have our combo. So this is the schedule and budget, like we saw on our dashboard, and then again, we have it for every single activity, so we can really dig deep in here, right? We can zoom in a little closer if we want to. I want to say 12, 1, 12. See, I can go in real close. I can see the whole chart. I can hold my cursor again like before. Everything is there for absolutely everything. So the point of this is that you have complete visibility of your project. You can see everything, meaning I don't need to gather information from multiple different sources, because all of those people are making entries into the user template all at the same time. So by doing that, I don't have to gather it. By doing that, I have the information right now. All these calculations are done. I don't have to put it together myself and waste time doing it. It's estimated around 40% of people's time is spent creating this. And this is on a monthly basis or more. If you get into a critical situation, right, during your project, being in a critical situation, you're in a chaotic point in time where you really don't even have time to do this, or less time, but that's when it's needed more. So it's really just, a big time saver, and it's accurate. There's no human error, right? And you can go home and sleep well at night. This is the S-curve of the budget, so we can see how it progresses over time quite easily, and again, every activity. We also have the histogram view of the budget, and the good reason for that is if you have like a space, right, or point in time that there are no payments, then you can easily identify that with a histogram, where S-curve you can't, but there are other benefits to having the view of an S-curve versus a histogram. We provide them both. Now we also have the schedule. Now the schedule in a line graph or S curve here for schedule is awesome, really. It's way better than a Gantt. So, and everybody that uses anything else that's a Gantt, if I were to look at this or any Gantt and I say, okay, my progress, I say, here's my progress, but what was the progress over this whole period of time? Was it 5% here or was it 5% up here? Was it 50% was up here or was 50%? Nobody knows, right? But with an S curve, you do know, right? So here's your percent completion over time. And again, for everything. And so think about this. You have your importance value, right? Importance value is applied to your schedule, right? All of these have that percentage applied to them, which is critical in keeping track of something, because if something is more critical, then it's going to go into red more easily if it's not being managed properly. And that's only to benefit you, to keep your project on track, your entire project as a whole. And that's something else that lacks in what I think every project management software, because they don't have that level of insight, right? But think about this, all those different percentages, all those various percentages are each one of these, and so each one of those, that percentage of this type of activity is then converted into this. So all these have a baby with a percentage of that type of DNA. If you think of it that way, it's going to be a percentage of this, percentage of this, percentage of this that rolls up to your overall project, which is really this. So if I change my percentages, then this will change, and it will reflect what you want it to be, whatever it is that you want and need for your project, right? And activity. Okay, let's go to critical path. So this is the critical path method. Anyone that knows the critical path method knows that it's early start, early finish, late start, late finish. Always have this somewhat like this box, so we pretty much replicated it, but we have more information because why? We are in the real world, right? That means that we work with dates. We don't work with just a number. So when you take a class and you look at the PMP book and it says, okay, this is duration. This is day 1, and we have 5 more days, and it'll add it on, and this is the number of days, right? But those days are really dates in your calendar, and that's not something that people really have to do or think about when they're looking at the book. They just have that ideology and how it works as a formula. But when you apply that in the real world with an actual date, and when you start throwing dates around, things can get really confusing. So we do it all for you, though. And so once you connect everything in your critical path, this is automatically done for you. So it's a quick reference if you want to, like a dashboard of sorts for project management. Or I'm sorry, critical path method. So I can see all the different points in time with the dates. I have my activity name. If it has float, I can easily identify which ones are on my critical path. So someone says, what's my critical path? Which is a very common question. And so you could just go here and say, well, this is everything on the critical path, right? This tab is just pulling everything over. It is just for reference, really. This is your entire project pulled over, and these are your budget and your schedule of the costs and the percent completions of absolutely everything for each week, right? And so that goes all the way through. This percent is the percent of that weight that's applied. And then we go to the next tab, the progress tab, and that's the same thing, but we have the cumulative portion as well. So just take a look. This is the schedule. On this side is every value that week, and then this one is the cumulative of each week tallied up, right? So you have both, which is beneficial. And if you want to use this data, right, copy, paste, or use it just like you would a CSV file. Let's say that you would get a dump of like a header and numbers. If you needed that for something else, it's all here. And so this is the whole project. I'm going to zoom out. You can see it's quite a large file. So this is the whole project, and then everything is cookie cutter in the sense that it's the same format, but everything over to the right, this is the next activity, then the next activity, and so on. I'm going to zoom in. This is your weight up here, just identified for you. This is the subcategory total. This, I'm going to zoom in. Up at the top, it does tallies for you for absolutely everything. So for the project, it's your actual versus what was expected at this point in time. So actual schedule, we planned, we are actually at 88.41% complete. And we have this, everything else is left over. We were planned to be 89.91%. So you can quickly identify that, right? And then this is actual versus expected according to the category weight. So if I go over here, it might be a little different. And some of these are already completed, right? So I'm trying to find one. Yeah, here's one that's not completed. So this is a percentage, and this is budget. So this is the totals and the percentage of those totals. And then if we look at the schedule portion, that's completed. But once you get to an area that's not completed, you'll just see what that percentage is in the breakdown of the weight, right? So it shows the percentage of the weight, but then it's like, okay, but what is it for for that activity? You want to say, is it 50% done, 100% done, right? Because that's how we think. But we break it down to that and what that importance percentage is and whatever percentage of that percentage, right? Hope that's not confusing. So that is all the output. Boom. You have absolutely everything imaginable, and it's real simple to read. Very, again, organized in the sense that I can look at some of these other activities, right, and drill down more. It's the same type of look. I want to see the Gantt for this one. Here it is. And you see how I'm clicking around. We made all this so it's very easy to jump around. I want to see the critical path. I go here. I want to go to progress. I go here. I want to go to this one. I go here, right? I want to go and see my dashboard. Okay. I want to see my CPI, SPI. Oops, I clicked the wrong one, I think. And then you can see that, right? So this one's not doing so well. So as a project manager or CEO, president, VP, whoever is looking at this, you're going to say, okay, I'm not, someone could say, oh, everything's fine because I see this, but there could be an issue down the road because why? Well, this one's behind and it shouldn't be. Well, it's completed, but it completed behind schedule and over budget, so that's not good. But you have record of it here. So before this would happen, it's already over. But as you lead up to it, maybe you could have prevented something from happening, right? It looks like overall everything was okay. But these are the types of things that gives you that insight. I can immediately go and tackle this versus, what happened and now something already happened and now we have to deal with it and be in this reactive mode versus being proactive by having this. Okay. All right. That gives you an overview. I hope that helps. Any questions or other demos, if you'd like to see them, let us know. Thank you.